As the morning light washed across the sleepy Shem hillside, Nuke and company realised that their campsite was especially luxurious. Not only was it just a few minutes' walk from a goat shop, not only did the bandits respect the no noise after 10 PM rules, but atop the slope there were huge green-leafed trees. "No way! How is this possible?" Izumi said, jumping up from her camp bed. She prodded at Izayah, who squirmed about.
"Raining cats and dogs? Ah, wonderful," he muttered.
After some further invigoration, he added,
"I had heard of this place, the great swamp on the edge of the old lands. The trees grow tall and old, unlike anyone who treads there. That's why you don't hear much about the place, of course. Perhaps Rickard's good stuff censor will pick something up about it."
Rick was unusually lying on the ground, his head pointed over at the tree line above them.
"Stove's legacy. Take it in,"
he said, but that was all he wished to divulge. "Well, let's take a peek, shall we?" Nuke said, rushing up the hillside. At the top, he saw a sprawling forest covering the hills as far as he could see, with a thick, leafy canopy, brooks and pools of glistening water, and beds of vibrant mosses and fungi. The gang joined him, standing with mouths agape. It was life. Life all over the place.
"Could this be
Earth?" Nuke muttered.
Earth's literally right there!"
Izumi insisted, pointing at Okran in the sky.
"If it had been further away, maybe this wouldn't be all that's left,"
Rick said. The ground was soggy, and the skeleton's weight was gradually pressing him down into it. Water pooled about his feet.
"Man, it's so delicate. No place for us, they said. Kinda see why. You know what, guys? I want to tell y'all something."
He didn't tell them anything. Why? Because the quiet moment was derailed by Nuke shrieking. You see, his feet too had been sinking into the wet ground as he stood, and when the groundwater had pooled over his open-topped sandals, the searing, familiar burn of the Deadlands launched him into the air.
"Fucking acid again! Shit!"
he shouted, jumping to stand on some tree roots. But when he grabbed the trunk to stay upright, he was sent reeling back again.
"How does that burn as well?"
he complained, running back to the sandy campsite.
"Oh yeah, sorry about that, biologicals. Had to add a little repellent to keep this place intact. Funny what you forget over the years, huh?"
Rick said, following the group back out of the majestic forest. So that's why the crew had to take a much more dull route to the Shek Kingdom, heading around the Great Swamp through the dramatic yet unnamed region of the world that sat roughly in the centre of the three great powers. The deep canyons and towering mesas made up what was only known as the Border Zone. Nestled in the landscape were crumbling ruins of military bases and sparse colonies, property of the Holy Nation, as Izayah explained.
"It's a mess. Holy Nation zealots decided to move on in a few decades back. Came and destroyed our outposts and set up their little villages. But there they were, so confident that mere Shek could never threaten them, that they didn't even put up walls. My mother came out here in her younger days with 100 guardians, real fighters, and killed them all. By the stories you hear from the invasion, death was too good for them. But that's how it stands. As for my own insight, I can only tell you that these valleys now, while part of the Shek Kingdom in theory, belong to none but the scavengers. I spent 2 years keeping the caravans out of their grasp. But then Holy Nation patrols started coming down as well, and you know what they think about Shek, so that was the end of my little mercenary career." "Seems to me you're still doing it,"
Rick commented.
"Oh, yes, I suppose. But the prince is a rather higher class of customer,"
Izayah said. This drew attention to the fact Nuke was wiping sweat from his brow with his hands, then slurping at his palm. "It's still got rum in it," he said when the attention became rather palpable. "Charlie taught me this little secret, master of his craft."
"Wish not, want not,"
Elves chimed.
"And if it's not waste, you don't want it,"
Izumi added. The journey through the borderlands was punctuated with a few failed heists by the canyon highwaymen. In some cases the failure was so radical that the bandits got heisted and hoisted, booted and boosted, sniped and swiped. That is to say, they were dragged off behind the large guild entourage as bounties. After 2 days of the old uppy-downy, to use the exciting hiking terminology, they reached what remained of the sea that all these canyons once drained into.
There it is,
Izayah said, pointing ahead. There was a mountain with a huge split down the middle, forming a pass right through it.
That's the gateway to the kingdom.
Finally, let's get in there and get them chock-locked, Nuke said. Izayah sighed and followed him onwards. Approaching the gateway brought them down into the lowlands of the Sten Basin, where huge spiky orbs sat happily on dusty bluffs.
Are those giant fucking sea urchins?
Izumi asked.
Sand urchins, but yes, giant and fugging too,
Izayah said.
It must have all been underwater.
Izumi looked to Rick as she spoke.
Look, I'm tired of these accusations that it's somehow my fault the seawater got vaporized,
the skeleton said.
I didn't really... Rick, did you...
This ain't no trial, sister. I do not recall. I do not recall. Case closed. Now let's go lie down, shoot up, or whatever you flesh-mesh freaks want to do in there.
The in there he was referring to was Squin, the great border fortress of the Shek Kingdom, nestled in the mountain gateway. As they approached the gate, Izayah finally ground to a halt.
My apologies, but I think I will wait for you outside, he said.
Bobby and Claw immediately broke off too and joined him. Is this your paleness thing? Are you embarrassed? Oh, come on man, who cares what they think? Let's make this fucking town remember your name, Nuke said, but the encouragement didn't land.
It is more important than you think. I would rather not discuss it. I'm sure me staying here won't cause any trouble, will it?
Guess not. Still, just seems wrong.
Welcome to life, my prince. Take all the time you need.
With this, Izayah ran off with Choco into the crags flanking the mountain, his guards close behind. What is all that anyway? Charlie? Nuke asked. El shrugged.
He's the wrong colour. Wrong colour means you're ill.
Gustafsson nodded in agreement. With no real answer, Nuke and company were subject to a drug search at the gates. But what could the guards say about the brownish mush buried in Gary's bags? You haven't even heard of NTHQMPEALV2SATMCWOTSDE, Nuke scoffed.
Oh, brown bread,
the guard nodded, unamused but unsuspicious also. At least the marketing must have been working. In they went, with the first port of call being the police station to offload the dregs of the border zone for a cash reward, then straight to the bar with cash in hand. Nuke was waiting in the lunchtime queue, drawing plenty of skeptical looks for being the only human there, not to mention being dressed like a ninja, as he usually was these days, when he saw something shining in the corner of the room. Sitting alone by the rum barrels was another albino Shek.
I knew it was allowed,
Nuke said, abandoning his position 4 prime queue real estate and sliding his way through the forest of towering patrons towards the pale Shek woman.
Hey, you're albino,
was his charming opening line.
And you're a flatskin, fug off,
she replied.
That's what I'm talking about,
Nuke cheered, sitting down next to her.
You're not fugging off. Are you slow in the head, flatskin?
I'm rich, if that's what you mean.
Yep, that's what I meant. Rich enough for charity, is it?
Well, yeah, I'm basically collecting weird Sheks, and I've already got one albino. How much do you cost then?
Collection, right. You should know, I'm only a kid, fugface.
You don't talk like one, or look like one. Wait a minute, am I being bamboozled here?
Nope, just richness again,
the Shek said. You might think that there really was a live bamboozling occurring, but despite being taller than Nuke and infinitely more cynical, she had scarcely cleared double digits in age. Look, my friend is really sad about the fact he's, a freak like you. So I wanted to pay you some money to go tell him he's a fuckface and shit, and get him realizing you can still be a regular old barfly scumbag and enjoy life, even if you're also the laughingstock of the town.
I don't need this shit flat-skin worm. I'm an engineer, not a doctor.
Ah yeah, my friend who is a girl does stuff like that.
You do not have any friends, flat-skin.
I bet you 2 stacks I can talk to a girl right now.
Give me the money now, and if you win, I'll give it back. How about that?
That seems convenient. Unless, wait.
Don't try to work it out, moron. Come, let me laugh at your dull loneliness before someone takes my spot.
Nuke directed the Shek out into the street, where Izumi was muttering something to Gustavsson.
I knew I had associated well. So be it, fleshy one. Your secrets amuse me highly. Oh, a Shek child, he said.
Izumi turned around and looked down to see the stocky legs of this so-called child.
Greetings, flat-skin girl. I am Elena,
she said from a good 2 or 3 heads above Izumi.
I am told you are friends with that human in the doorway.
Nuke waved from outside the bar.
What did he do? Did he steal something? I'm sorry. Here, how much do we owe you?
2 stacks.
Rick, do you have your bucket?
Yes, I have my bucket,
Rick said, emerging from behind Gary. Elena gasped.
That's an amazing skeleton,
she said, immediately laying her big hands on his shoulders.
Damn, I still got it. Can you fuck off a moment, missy?
But these parts are so rare. Where were you manufactured? And the red faceplate.
It's a real expensive story. Izumi, is this one of your bookworms?
Sorry, no. I think Nuke did something,
Izumi said.
So you really do know that awful man?
Elena asked.
Yeah, we're like friends.
Oh, let me tell you what they are,
Rick started, but Elena broke out in a booming laugh.
So he wasn't lying, the little rascal. But he said he knew another pale skin.
That's Izayah, he's outside. Guess you both have the same condition.
I dunno. He said you're into engineering, is that true?
Yeah, it's my job.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Finally someone who agrees.
I do it too. You with the tech hunters?
Of course.
No way. You must be famous.
Well, I am a published author in my field, but who isn't these days?
Big sister, you gotta hook me up.
Big? I don't know about that.
Look, I'll talk to your pale-skinned friend, whatever you need. Let's do something,
Elena said, waving Nuke over with a smile. Nuke sent her out to Izayah's hiding place among the cliffs.
Well, she's tall,
Izumi said. Welcome to the Shek Kingdom, Stumpy. She's gonna knock some sense into Izayah about this whole skin color thing, Nuke said. Izayah was knocked head over heels, alright.
You're albino,
he shouted as Elena approached his hiding spot, Choco barking all the while.
Is that a customary greeting or something? You're albino too, though. Never seen another one.
Nor I. Incredible.
Your friend in there says you need to stop worrying about it and just go in. And yeah, he's right. I never let it hold me back.
Oh, I wouldn't say it holds me back. Merely prompts me to go in a different direction.
And what direction is that?
Adventure. Why don't we go for a stroll and I'll regale you with a tale? Ah, it's okay, Choco. Calm down. She's a friend.
That evening, Nuke exited Squin with some good news. Izayah, we sold it all. Shek really do go gorilla shit for this stuff. We're gonna be fucking rich. Oh, you're still here. Elena gave a respectful bow.
I didn't know, Prince Tashino. I'm sorry I was rude.
Izayah, you've tamed her. But we're off, so best let her back into the wild, you know?
Nonsense! She wants to come on an adventure!
Yes, if that's okay with you, Prince,
Elena said. I guess. Might not be an adventure, but I wanted you to take us over to Admag. We're gonna work out what it will take to clean these towns out, then we'll be set for life. Ah, there was a time when Nuke would have been talking about stealing everything. Creating and exploiting drug addiction? Now that's the more virtuous path. There are many kinds of hero.
Oh, that's right. I can probably get your machines working better on your farm, Elena said. No offense to little sister, but I can probably make this chocolate stuff in my sleep.
Yeah, Charlie here thought he could do that too, but it turns out it was something else. So why don't you two pale scales lead the way?
Of course!
Izayah cheered.
To Admag, then. What a time. It feels good to finally have a Shek my own age about, I must say.
You're the same age? Izumi asked. Prince Gustavsson said she was a child for some reason.
Ha! Well, she's still older than me.
Wait, how old are you?
11 3/4.
What the fuck?
Izumi exclaimed. I think some of the others did so as well. Yes, Sheks, while technically human deep down inside, had all kinds of rough spots, genetically and dermatologically. As such, they rapidly grew into their adult forms, then actually got smaller in the so-called turbulent 20s of adolescence, before encrusting for a good 200 years of adulthood, after which they either got really big or really small for the last stretch, like the stars themselves.
So Chompin' Charlie there's an old man, and the power tower here's a damned trumped-up lava? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Biological's got it bad.
Rick commented. He was probably right. Aside from the chronological confusion, the night march to Admag went peacefully. The kingdom's borders were well guarded, not a bandit in sight. However, some of the kingdom's own citizens proved just as troublesome. In the morning, with the mountaintop city of Admag now in sight, the crew passed a patrolling group of soldiers on the main road.
Pale skins and flat skins. What a pitiful sight,
the leader called out. Seeing Izayah keeping his eyes to the ground, Elena spoke up.
Oh, fug off. Never seen a human before. Get over yourselves. And if you can't take pale fucking skin, you're gonna get real scared when it's your time to face the skin spiders, fugger.
Flat skins don't belong here. Neither do bugmen, old ones, or fucking collaborators.
Gentlemen, please, perhaps I could interest you in a trip to Browntown, Nuke offered. They didn't want to go, which was a shame because they would have really liked it. Instead, the patrol members went into a mad rage and attacked the horrible humans. But alas, they were outnumbered, and indeed, these humans weren't the puny dregs of imagination.
Kral's chosen, Elena commented once the attackers were slain. Trouble for everyone who isn't them.
So we need to get Kral to choose us too? Nuke asked.
Not going to happen, Prince, Izayah said. Long since dead, and famously so. You'll get an earful about it in the city, I expect.
The city was a short walk away. However, once again Izayah jammed his sword in the ground outside and made himself comfortable.
Come on, man, I thought... Big kid, say something to him, Nuke pleaded.
Stick with me. We won't let anyone give us any shit. It'll be fine, Elena said.
But Izayah shook his head.
I assure you, friends, that this is nothing to do with it. It's a personal matter, one that is now very close by.
A bounty? What are you talking about? Nuke asked. Everyone else was looking around awkwardly.
We agreed to let him have his own business, didn't we, my prince?
Watchton said. Yeah, but he's making it my business. I need my man and mascot up front to probe out the chocoholic potential accurately. That's just science, man. So what's the problem here?
I'll say this,
Izayah conceded.
Up there is the residence of the Stone Golem, Queen of all Shek. She and I have a sour history, so I cannot return. So, I will stay here until you have learned what you need to. No harm done, is there?
We're gonna find out, Nuke said, setting off up the steep hill to the city gate. Elena stayed with Izayah for another chat, while everyone else took in the sights of Admag. There wasn't that much to see. While it was the capital of the Shek Kingdom, it was more of a castle than a city, dotted with high towers, surrounded by cliffs and thick walls, and filled with glaring soldiers. Nuke sent the crew off to the few shops to get the lay of the land, while he marched right up to the large barrack building covered in Shek Kingdom banners.
I'm here to meet the Queen, he declared at the doors.
The guard smiled and let him through.
Bagsy's on his sword, all right,
he muttered to his comrade. Similar things were whispered as Nuke strode past the elite of the Shek military, who were happy to direct him up to the roof where the stone golem awaited. Up there, standing in the baking sun like a statue, was a huge grey Shek in full chainmail, wielding a poleaxe the size of poor Nuke, onto whom her steely glare swung.
Are you, Queen? That's like Empress, I presume. I'm here about,
Nuke petered out as the Queen's mouth began to grimace, revealing sharp filed teeth and a low growl.
Damn, this ain't the bogs, wrong way, sorry madam, he said, scurrying back downstairs.
At the bottom he ran right into another Shek, standing with hands on hips.
Flatskin, you will explain yourself to me now,
the Shek said. This was Bayan, mouth of the Queen, and a much more pleasant mouth, fortunately. He took Nuke aside from the snickering soldiers and informed him how the Queen spoke only to so-called allies of the Shek.
It's a real easy favour. I just need her to clear something up with a friend. I don't know the details, but it's going to be great for business. You heard of brown bread?
That is your doing, is it?
Yeah, gonna stick it to the big boys back in the Empire by getting rich and spreading the love, you know?
Good, good. I knew there were people in the Empire who weren't as disgusting as their nobility.
Yeah, I hate those guys.
But the rule stands. Whatever business your guild has with the Queen, it is not her concern, nor mine, and I'm quite busy, so if you don't mind...
Wait, there's gotta be something you want. Free chocolate? Oh, the filth. You'll like this. I've got these fan-translated books with some serious pictures, you know?
For a freak like you, the Queen would accept nothing less than the death of the Bugmaster.
Fine, I'll kill him, Nuke said. But at this, the whole barracks broke out in a deafening laughter that shook dust from the walls and even spilled a few drinks.
Good luck, Flatskin,
Bayan said, departing from his seat while still contorting all over the place in amusement. Nuke was not one to take this humiliation sitting down. He stood, but alas the humiliation continued, and so he ran from the building, swearing a vow to kill whatever this Bugmaster was. Well, we all make mistakes, don't we?